What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah, and we have another 2025 NBA Draft Scouting Report. And today we have Texas Guard Tre Johnson. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, y'all, let's start with his measurables. He's 6'6", 190 pounds. You look at his 2024 stats, he averaged 19.9 points, 3.1 rebounds, and 2.7 assists per game, while shooting 42.7% from the floor, 39.7% from three, and 87.1% from the free throw line. So this was a very good stat line from him. And now, y'all, let's get to his strengths. I think his first strength is that he's an elite shot creator. I think he's one of the best shot creators we've seen come through the draft in recent memory. He's an absolute bucket. You could tell he was a natural born scorer. He's one of those guys that you could put the ball in his hands and he will get you 40 or 50 points in any game, man. And y'all, that's a very hard skill to possess. There's not too many guys that can do that. There's not too many guys that can create offense for themselves at this high of a level, man. I mean, Tre Johnson does not need any of his teammates to create offense for himself. He doesn't need them to get him open looks, man, because he can just go out there and do it himself. He can create offense for himself on all three levels of the floor, y'all. And, man, when you have a guy that's just an absolute bucket like this, you have to love it because, again, this is a hard skill to possess, man. So I really love this about Tre Johnson. His next strength, y'all, is that he's a fearless scorer. Not only is he an elite shot creator, but he has supreme confidence in his shot creating and shot making and scoring ability, man. And he will take some shots that, other players will not take because they would be afraid to take those shots. But because Tre has so much confidence in his scoring abilities, man, he will take any shot on the floor. I jokingly said that Tre Johnson has not seen the shot that he didn't like. I mean, every shot that he takes, he thinks is a great shot because that's just the type of confidence that he has in his scoring ability, and for good reason. Every player cannot be this confident in their scoring abilities because every player cannot score the ball the way Tre Johnson can score the ball. So when you have a guy that is a great scorer, but he's also very confident in his scoring ability, a guy that's not afraid to take big shots, not afraid to make big shots, you really have to love that, y'all, because a lot of players are shy away from the big moment, but Tre Johnson, he relishes the big moment. He wants to go out there, make a lot of shots for his team, play well, and get those buckets for his squad. His next strength is his mid-range / three-point shooting. And I know that the mid-range shot is frowned upon in today's NBA because all these teams and all these players want to take a lot of threes. But Tre Johnson is an elite. And I mean, he's an elite mid-range shooter. And I think as soon as he steps foot in the NBA, he's going to be one of the best mid-range shooters in the game because he has a very good shot, man. I mean, he has a smooth release, y'all. I really love watching him shoot the ball because he has a smooth release. He has good mechanics. He has a good pull-up game, and he creates space so that way he's able to get clean looks from the mid-range area. So I really love him as a mid-range shooter. And then his three-point shooting again, he shot 39.7% from three on nearly 7 attempts per game, man. So he's a deadly shooter. He's a deadly deep-range shooter as well. He's not just one of those guys who's going to be shooting a lot of corner threes. No, Tre Johnson can shoot that thing from deep. And the reason I think that his shooting is going to translate well to the next level is because he shot 87% from the free throw line. And y'all, that's always an indicator of how good a guy is going to be able to shoot the ball at the next level. If a guy shot a high percentage from three, but a low percentage from the free throw line in college, he's not going to be a good shooter in the NBA. Just as how it works. He's not going to be able to shoot the ball well in the NBA. But if you have a guy that shot a high percentage from three and from the free throw line in college, then normally that's going to translate to him being a good shooter in the NBA. And I think because Tre Johnson shot the ball well from three and from the free throw line, and because he has a smooth release and good mechanics, he's going to be a really good shooter in the NBA. His next strength is that he has good footwork. Tre Johnson, he posts up a lot because he's a bigger guard. Again, as I mentioned earlier, he's 6'6", 190 pounds with a 6'10" wingspan. So he uses his size very well. He uses it to his advantage when he's going up against little guards. He's able to take them down there on the low block, man, shoot over them, y'all. But he has very good footwork, man. It's rare to see a guard have really good footwork. Honestly, it's rare to see, a lot of guards post up. But it's even, more rare to see a guy, y'all, to not only post up, not only see a guard, I should say, post up, but see a guard that has good footwork down there. He's very comfortable operating, on the low block. And I think you can actually run some plays for him, y'all. I know that sounds weird, like saying, wow, seeing a guard post up and you're running plays from him while he's posting up. But I think you can run offense through him when he's down there on the low block. So you really have to love his footwork. His next strength, y'all, is his off-ball movement, man. I think this might be the biggest thing I love about Tre Johnson because he is constantly moving. He never stops moving. And this is what makes him so difficult to defend because when he does not have the ball in his hands, man, Texas, they ran so many screens to get him open, y'all, and he just never stops moving. And as a defender, that is so draining when you have to go up against a guy that is just constantly moving. You rather him just stay stationary on the court and teammates just pass him the ball, right? And he's just shooting. But no, Tre Johnson is constantly moving, man. This dude is constantly on the go. And then he's a really good cutter as well. When he's not coming off screens to shoot the ball, from 3, he's good at cutting to the basket. He's good at recognizing, okay, hey, I can get by my opponent, so let me just blow by him and go to the basket, get an easy layup. So you really have to love him operating as a off-ball mover. His next strength, y'all, is that he's a skilled ball handler, man. I really love his crossovers. I love his jab steps. He just has every tool in his bag to create space, get open. And you have to be able to do that, y'all, because in the NBA, these dudes are going to stay attached to you. If you're not a good ball handler, I don't care the points you put up in college, man. If you are not a good ball handler, once you get to the NBA, you are going to struggle to score if you don't have a good handle. But luckily, Tre Johnson, this should not be a problem for him because he is a very skilled ball handler. He can just create so much separation, which is why you see a lot of times, man, he's like wide open from 3. He's wide open for the mid-range game because these dudes cannot stay in front of him because of his quick crossovers. Again, his jab step, man, his jab step is lethal. So he's definitely a good ball handler. He should have zero problem creating separation in the NBA. His next strength is his playmaking potential. Now, he's not an elite passer. He's not a John Stockton, a Chris Paul, or Jason Kidd, but he definitely has some untapped potential when it comes to his playmaking ability. And I think he's a solid passer when he's operating the 2-man game, the pick and roll game, because he's able to identify the open man and throw some really on target and on time passes. And you saw that a lot on tape. So I think for him, it's not that Tre Johnson cannot pass. I know some people think he's a horrible passer. I think he's a solid passer. He just has to find that balance of when it's time for him to score versus when it's time for his teammates to score. And as long as he can find that balance, I think he has a chance to be a really good passer in the NBA. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you put on the tape, man, Tre Johnson, he throws some really solid passes, so he just needs to continue to get better at that. And I think his last strength is that he has the clutch factor. He has the clutch gene. This is the guy, y'all, that will make big-time shots, will make big-time plays in big-time games. And you really have to appreciate when guys are clutch like this. They're not afraid of the moment, because some guys, y'all, they could just not handle that moment. Like when it's time for the game to be won, they ready their teammate to do it. But Tre Johnson is one of those guys that when the game is on the line, he wants the ball in his hands so he can go make the shot, he can go make the play, he can go make the pass. So you really have to appreciate that about him. Let's be honest, y'all. The Texas Longhorns, they were not that good in 2024. They really should have had a worse record than what they had. But because of his just, supreme ability, they were able to win some games because he just took over and he won the games for them. So again, you have to love this about him. I think this is going to translate very well at the next level. But now, y'all, let's get to his weaknesses. I think his first weakness is his defensive intensity / awareness. Right now, Tre Johnson does not play with any effort defensively, y'all. He really reminds me of like James Harden back in 2015, 2016, 2017. Y'all remember James Harden those years, man. He was averaging, like 29 points per game, like 8 rebounds, 11 assists, putting up these gaudy numbers, getting these 50, 60-point triple-doubles. But he wasn't playing any defense. And I love James Harden. He's one of the best players ever, one of the best scorers ever. But he was not playing any defense, y'all. When I look at Tre Johnson, he looks like James Harden on defense right now. He just does not play with any effort at all. And I actually think, it's kind of a shame because I think Tre Johnson could be a decent defender because he has, good size. I mean, he's 6'6", 190 pounds with a 6'10" wingspan, and he's decently athletic. So I just feel like if he put forth the effort, he would be a decent defender. But right now, he does not want to play defense. All he wants to do is just go out there and get a lot of buckets. And then also, y'all, his defensive awareness is really bad. Man, he just looks lost a lot of times defensively. So I really hope that he goes to a team that has a strong-minded defensive coach, y'all, because that's what Tre Johnson needs. He needs a coach that's going to make him play defense. He needs a coach that says, hey, Tre, if you want to play for me, if you want to be on the court, if you want to get, 20, 30 points per game, you got to play defense for me, though. You got to at least play with some effort, y'all. So that's what I really hope happens for him because he needs it. His next weakness is his shot selection. Now, earlier I stated he's an elite shot creator, and he is one of the best shot creators I've seen in recent memory. But sometimes, y'all, even for him, he can take shots that are way too difficult. I mean, way too difficult. Now, some of that could have been the team he was on. Again, as I just stated a couple of minutes ago, the Texas Longhorns in 2024 were bad. They were not that good. They did not have a lot of talent. So there were a lot of times really most of the time that Tre, he had to take these, insanely difficult shots because they didn't have any other guys on the team that could create offense for themselves. So I hope, y'all, that this is something that only happened because of the team he played on, and not this is just his play style. I hope he's not really a tough shot taker like this in the NBA because, man, it's hard to get away with that in the NBA. It really is, y'all. And he's not going to be that efficient. So he's really going to have to start taking easier shots for himself, make life easier for himself, because in the NBA, you're already going against these dudes, right, that have elite athleticism, that have elite length. So if you're taking these tough shots, it's just going to make things easier for them as a defender. It's going to make life harder for you as a scorer. So we know Tre Johnson is an elite scorer, but he needs to make things easier for himself so that way he can become a more efficient player. His next weakness, y'all, is that he needs to attack the rim more / finish. Tre Johnson right now does not try to attack the rim at all. He had less than 100 attempts at the rim this past season, y'all, which is really low, especially for a guy that, again, shot 87% from the free throw line. So he's a good free throw shooter. It's not like the reason he doesn't want to attack the basket is because he's not a good free throw shooter. No, he's a really good free throw shooter. He just doesn't want to attack the basket. Right now, his offense, y'all, is mid-range shots and a lot of pull-up threes, which is fine because, again, he's a good shooter. But he needs to diversify his game a little bit because in the NBA, these dudes are going to catch on to him. They're going to say, okay, well, we know all he wants to do is shoot a bunch of jump shots. So we're going to play him so tight. We're going to basically force him to go to the rim. But because he doesn't want to go to the rim, he's just going to hang out here on the perimeter and keep taking all these jump shots. But he needs to attack the basket, man. He needs to finish, too. Not only attack the basket, but when he gets to the basket, he needs to start converting these layups because right now he does a poor job of converting layups when he does get to the rim, right? And that's not okay because, again, he does have decent athleticism. So he should be a better finisher, but he has to attack the rim more. He has to want to attack the rim more because, again, right now, y'all, he just wants to hang on the perimeter. No, Tre. Get to that basket, man. Use your size to your advantage because if you do, it really help you out a long way, man. It can really help out Tre Johnson immensely when he starts attacking the basket. And y'all think his last weakness is his decision making. As I stated earlier, he's not, the best of passers right now. Definitely not a horrible passer, but his decision making just needs work. Like a lot of young guards, y'all. I mean, we said this same thing about Keontae George a couple of years ago. Y'all remember Keontae George when he came out of Baylor? He's a really good scorer, really good shooter, really good shot creator. But we said his decision making needed work, and he's kind of improved on it now. So I think for Tre Johnson, this is something that could easily be fixed, but he just needs to become a better decision maker. So that way, again, his coach will trust him and his teammates will trust him as well to not only just get buckets for himself, get shots for himself, but they're able to create offense and create shots for his teammates as well. So now, y'all, let's get to his pro comparison, this prospect grade, and I will get on up out of here. So my pro comparison for Tre Johnson is Cam Thomas and the young Ray Allen, which I know is very interesting to say, but we know that Cam Thomas is one of the best shot creators, one of the best scorers in the NBA. I mean, the guy's an absolute bucket. He's one of those guys that you can put the ball in his hands and he can go get you 30, 40, even 50 points any given game, and he's supremely confident in his ability. And that's Tre Johnson, y'all. I mean, Tre Johnson has all those skill sets that Cam Thomas has. They have very similar play styles to one another. And then a young Ray Allen, which I think this is a very sneaky comparison because a lot of people don't know, before Ray Allen joined the Celtics and Heat, he could actually put the ball on the floor, get to the rim, attack the basket, and create offense for himself. He wasn't just a catch-and-shoot player. He wasn't just coming off screens, shooting threes. No, he could actually create offense for himself. At one point, y'all, Ray Allen was a 25-point-per-game scorer. And I think when you look at Tre Johnson, to me, that's his ceiling, y'all. If he is able to become really a better finisher around the rim, because again, when Ray Allen in his younger days, he was a really good dunker. And he was a good finisher when it came to finishing his layup. So to me, if Tre Johnson can become a better finisher, his ceiling is Ray Allen. His floor is Cam Thomas, but his ceiling to me is Ray Allen, y'all. So he could either be a really good player or he could be a Hall of Famer. And I think that's where he is right now. And then my prospect grade for him, gave him a grade of a 90, meaning he's a very good prospect. And again, I really do think that Tre Johnson is going to be a really good player in the NBA. But I think for him, his ability to finish around the rim, become a better finisher, I should say, and play with better effort defensively is really going to determine if he can become an elite player. Because I think we all can agree his shooting, his shot-making ability, and his clutch gene gives him a chance to become a really good player in the NBA. But if he wants to become an elite player, he has to improve his finishing and his defense, y'all. And if he does that, man, Tre Johnson is going to become an elite player in the league for years to come. But even if that doesn't happen, man, I'm telling you, this dude is going to get flat out buckets. And I think he's easily going to be a 25 to 30 point per game, 30 point per game scorer for years to come, man. So there y'all have it. This was my 2025 NBA draft scouting report for Texas guard Tre Johnson. Remember, y'all, laughter is good medicine. So what? Make sure you get your daily dose. Y'all know I'm going to end it, man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.